Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for March 11, 2024. And in the news this evening, several people rushed to hospital following two-vehicle crash in Manchester. Several people have been rushed to hospital following a two-vehicle crash on the Penhill Main Road in Manchester on Monday afternoon. The crash, which happened about 2:30 p.m., involved a Toyota Yaris and a Toyota Isis, which operated as a taxi. Preliminary reports suggest that the vehicles were traveling in opposite directions when the crash occurred. District Officer Stuart Edwards at the Jamaica Fire Brigade said speeding may have been a contributing factor to the crash. When we arrived on the scene, occupants of the private car were already removed and transported to the Mandeville Regional Hospital. We are appealing to motorists to proceed with caution on the road. This could have been avoided if persons were driving within the speed limit, he said. The crash resulted in a pileup of traffic on the crucial main road that links Mandeville to Christiana and its environs. Baby stolen from Victoria Jubilee Hospital found in Dunkirk. The 11-day-old newborn baby, who was reportedly stolen from the Victoria Jubilee Maternity Hospital on Monday, has been found. According to the police, the baby was found in the community of Dunkirk in East Kingston. Details surrounding the baby's discovery are not known at this time. The baby, Kimoya Shantana Robe, was reportedly taken from her mother, 26-year-old Christina Blake, while at the hospital where Blake went for treatment. It is alleged that on completion of the treatment, the baby was left in the care of the mother, who is in a wheelchair, while the father went to purchase food. A woman who allegedly befriended the parents volunteered to hold the child. It is reported that she left with the baby despite the mother's attempts to stop her. The alleged kidnapper is said to be in her 30s, brown complexion, medium build, about 5 feet 6 inches tall. There is no news on the suspect at this time. Additional security assets rushed to Grange Hill after 4 murders over the weekend. Security has been significantly increased in the Grange Hill community in Westmoreland in response to an upsurge in gang violence, which resulted in 4 murders over the weekend. The latest incident occurred about 10 p.m. Sunday when Shaquille Forrest, who is of a Grange Hill address, was ambushed by heavily armed men as he drove through the Little London community. Forrest and another man who was traveling with him jumped from the vehicle and ran. However, Forrest was chased and shot multiple times. He died on the spot. The killing of Forrest comes in the wake of Saturday's incident in which marauding gangsters invaded a section of the Grange Hill community, killing 3 men and injuring another. Superintendent Sean J. Mitchell, the commander for Zone 4 in the Westmoreland Police Division, said that based on intelligence gathered by the police, the shootings are because of a feud between the resurgent King Valley Gang and the Answer Posse Gang. Indications are that they are fighting for control of turf and the spoils from illicit activities. The Kings Valley Gang surged to national attention in 2020 when several members of the gang were arrested in a major operation. They were charged with being a part of a criminal organization. The gang's leader, Derval Lukey Williams, was subsequently convicted and is now serving time in prison. Woman shot and wounded in Central Village attack. A woman was shot and wounded in an early morning attack in Central Village, St. Catherine. The 55-year-old woman was shot about 12:15 a.m. while sitting at her gate at 56 First Avenue. It is reported that the woman sustained bullet wounds to her face. The police were called and she was transported to hospital. Her condition is considered serious. Motorcyclist killed after colliding with a tree fell by protesting Westmoreland residents. A motorcyclist is dead after he collided into a tree that angry residents fell during an ongoing protest in Little London, Westmoreland on Sunday night. His identity has not yet been ascertained. The news understands that residents in the community are protesting the demise of 2 teens who died after they were allegedly hit from a motorcycle by a police vehicle and collided into a tree. 19-year-old Javian Black, a chef, and a 15-year-old Tyreek Fraser were later pronounced dead at hospital. The police have since distanced themselves from the accident. The police's corporate communications unit reported that the teens collided with a motorcar that was traveling in the opposite direction. The report said the driver of the motorcar fled the scene. Electrician charged with housebreaking and larceny. A 32-year-old man from Portland has been arrested and charged with housebreaking and larceny after he is accused of stealing $254,000 along with a number of household items on Friday, March 8. He is Kemar Howard, an electrician of Windsor, Rio Grande in the parish. Reports from the Port Antonio police are that about 6 p.m., Howard allegedly broke into the complainant's house and stole one component set, one music box, one black point television, and $254,000. It was reported that Howard then contacted the complainant and informed him that he had stolen the items. According to the police, the man turned himself into the police on Saturday, March 9, and was subsequently charged. He is scheduled to appear before the Port Antonio Parish Court on Tuesday, April 9. JFJ questions whether plans are shelved for a forensic ward to house mentally ill inmates. Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, is questioning whether plans for the construction of a forensic ward to house inmates in need of psychiatric care have been shelved. Ms. Jackson also wants the government to act on the suggestion to repeal Section 25, subsection 2A of the Criminal Justice Administration Act, which allows a judge to make an order for a person deemed unfit to plead to be held in custody at the court's pleasure. A group of attorneys representing human rights advocates, JFJ, and the Stand Up for Jamaica have filed an application asking the Supreme Court to allow them to bring a class action type lawsuit against the state over the treatment of mentally ill persons in conflict with the law. Ms. Jackson says the attorneys and the JFJ decided to join with Stand Up for Jamaica after several failed attempts to get the government to act on a raft of recommendations, the latest of which came after the death of Noel Chambers in January 2020. The 81-year-old man spent 40 years in prison without a trial. Speaking Monday with the news, Ms. Jackson said the government is being called upon to implement the changes promised, even as the attorneys await a date for a hearing in the Supreme Court.
The government also fulfilled its promise of that forensic psychiatric facility. We have been hearing the championing of deinstitutionalization, ensuring, for example, that the infirmaries across the island would now be equipped with the human resources and the type of facilities needed to ensure that individuals are reintegrated into society, but in a manner that is safe. So, we hope that the legal matter is successful. But while that is happening, public advocacy with our parliamentarians and public education with society would be important, because this is all our problem.
Carla Golato, Executive Director of Stand Up for Jamaica, said that the aim of the legal challenge is for legislative changes in how mentally ill people in conflict with the law are treated by the justice system. Ms. Golato said this should prevent a recurrence of the issues.
Because let's say that we will be able, and I am not sure we will, right, to get out from the prisons those 200, 250 which are still there. If there won't be a legislative change, in 3 months you might have another set of 20 entering the same institution. So if we do not make a striking change at the top of the river, we can get out 300, but I am sure that within 2 years we will have a similar situation occurring again.
Indan charged with shopbreaking and larceny. A 32-year-old man from Westmoreland has been charged with shopbreaking and larceny after he allegedly broke into an establishment in Esher District, Hanover on Thursday, February 22. He is Christopher Tomlinson, otherwise called Indan, a laborer of White House in the parish. Reports from the Lucy police are that about 2 a.m., a woman and her spouse locked up their establishment and left. Checks were subsequently made on the security system when 2 men were observed at the rear of the premises. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, the men were seen fleeing the scene. Further investigations revealed that the 5 gaming boxes were broken into and an undetermined sum of money was stolen. Alcoholic beverages and the cigarettes, valued at over $71,000, were also reportedly taken off the shelves. The scene was processed by members of the Area 1 Technical Services Division, and the following investigative leads, Tomlinson was arrested on Sunday, March 3. He was later charged after he was positively pointed out on an identification parade. His court date is being finalized.